You've got to know who he was before Mayakoba, the kind of golfer he'd spent decades becoming. And why? For a guy with a reputation built on being steady and decent, this moment landed like a slap. Kuchar showed up at Mayakoba expecting a normal week. Then the plan changed. His regular caddy, John Wood, couldn't travel, so Kuchar needed someone fast. No drama, no big search. He just asked for a local caddy. That's how he ended up with David Giral Ortiz, a familiar face at the resort. And in the moment, the deal was pretty simple. The reported agreement was a basic sliding scale. $1,000 if Kuchar missed the cut, $2,000 if he made the cut, $3,000 for a top 20, and $4,000 for a top 10. And that original setup didn't have a specific win bonus baked into it. Keep that detail in mind, because Kuchar didn't just play solid golf that week. He won. This Mayakoba victory was Kuchar's first PGA Tour win in 4.5 years. It should have been a clean comeback headline. Instead, the moment he left Mexico, the numbers became the story. According to reporting at the time, after the win, Kuchar paid Ortiz $5,000 in cash before leaving for Australia for another tournament. Now here's the thing. In pro golf, caddy pay is part contract, part tradition. A full-time caddy typically earns a percentage of the week's winnings, and a win bonus is typically around 10%. Ortiz wasn't Kuchar's full-time guy traveling every week. He was a local fill-in. But once people saw the winner's check was $1.3 million, the comparison was impossible to ignore. $1.3 million for Kuchar, and $5,000 for the caddy who helped him get there. And that's when this turned from golf to moral math. This didn't play out like a normal sports argument. People got mad fast, and it got personal. Because the debate wasn't really about whether Kuchar followed the terms. It was about the bigger picture. You win over $1 million, and you still hand the caddy a few $1,000s? For a lot of fans, that just didn't sit right. Then Ortiz's side hit the public. Reports said he turned down an extra $15,000 because he felt the fair number was $50,000. Kuchar's side didn't pretend it hadn't blown up. His agent said Kuchar is deliberate, that he wanted to pay more, and that Ortiz rejected the additional money. But by then, the reaction had already taken off. And when Kuchar tried to defend the original setup, it didn't cool anything down. If anything, it made the criticism louder. Even a year later, people were still pointing out the same thing. The caddy payment got more attention than the win. That's what made it stick. It wasn't a one-week outrage cycle. It turned into the story people kept attaching to his name. So, how did a guy like Kuchar end up here? Time to rewind. Matt Kuchar's golf identity was never built on chaos. It was built on being reliable. Before the tour, he was elite as an amateur. He won the 1997 U.S. Amateur, and he said that victory ranks among his greatest achievements. In 1998, he was the low amateur at both the Masters and the U.S. Open. He turned pro in 2000, and by 2002, he'd won the Honda Classic. Then his career hit a pothole. He struggled, got demoted to what was then the Nationwide Tour, and had to fight his way back. Then came 2006, which is a pretty good snapshot of who Kuchar is. He won the Henrico County Open on the Nationwide Tour in a playoff, his first win of any kind since the 2002 Honda Classic. And from there, the rebuild really stuck. His swing got cleaned up, the confidence came back, and he turned into the Kuchar most fans recognize. The steady, top-level pro who seems to show up on leaderboards everywhere. He won the Players' Championship, won big events, and by his own telling, he took pride in consistency and making cuts. He even has a bronze medal from the 2016 Olympics, earned with a final round 63, which is the kind of quietly impressive accomplishment that fits him perfectly. And in 2017 at Royal Birkdale, he came agonizingly close to his first major title before Jordan Spieth's finish turned the script. So by the time Mayakoba happened, Kuchar wasn't some random tour guy. He was a veteran with a reputation. Which is why the Mayakoba story hit harder than it would have for almost anyone else. Eventually, Kuchar tried to shut it down and move on. It was reported that he apologized and agreed to pay Ortiz the full $50,000 he requested. And the apology wasn't just a generic PR clean statement. Kuchar said his comments were out of touch and insensitive, and that rereading them made him cringe. A year later, Kuchar was still answering for it. He said he wasn't proud of how he handled it, and that the whole thing had spread so far it even reached his family. In the end, reports said he paid the extra $45,000, and there were donations made locally too, an attempt to do more than just correct the number. But reputation is a delicate thing. Once people decide what a moment says about you, that version tends to stick. You can make it right later. You can apologize,